Hi there, Sandra Lee here, and so excited to, excuse me, have our special guest here today, Krishna Everson. Whoops. Hi, Krishna.
Hello.
Hello. So today's topic is having fun at any age, and Krishna is a woman of my own heart because anyone that knows me knows that I love having fun, and I truly believe that having fun does keep us young and youthful. There's no doubt about it. So those of you that don't know me, my name is Sandra Lee and my business is Sandra Lee Training, and I help people age young, strong and healthy from the inside out. So today's guest, Krishna, is a health copywriter with a heart for healthy aging. Krishna believes that staying young at heart is key to embracing growing older with joy, not loathing. Krishna started roller derbying at 47. That sounds way too exciting for me. Is self-employed and health marketer and is doing a Diploma of Clinical Aromatherapy. How did I go, Krishna? Did I get your introduction right?
Yeah, look, I think for all of us, we constantly evolve. So yes, that was a perfect introduction.
Thank you. Thank you. No, look, I am really excited to have you here today, Krishna. We've been talking about this for a little while, about getting together. And one of the things was about us as aging women tapping into the resources, the wisdom that we all bring to the table as we get over 40. And we are surrounded by so many great women here on the Sunshine Coast, but also virtually as we're part of different groups that are worldwide as well. So especially our Age Strong, Healthy and Young Facebook page, soon to be renamed, a huge amount of resources of amazing women there to draw from. So that is what this series is about, that will tie back into Sandra Lee Training. Every second week, we'll be having amazing women sharing wisdom to you all. So let's get started today with our topic of having fun at any age. So yeah, Krishna, so can you tell us and tell the viewers, what is your definition of aging?
Look, at the end of the day, I think it is of aging or healthy aging.
Healthy aging, absolutely.
Yeah, so look, I do think it is aging, quality of life, aging with a quality of life, regardless of how old we are or what ailments we might have. I think quality of life is the absolute key.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Which encompasses, encompasses quite a lot of things.
Absolutely. And because our topic is about having fun and age, how do you tie that into your definition of healthy aging?
Look, I'm still a 17-year-old at heart, to be honest.
Cool.
And that's how I feel, that's where I relate. I've still got quite young children, they're 14 and 20, so I still have a lot of fun with them. And so, laughter is fairly consistent in our household, and quite often they have a good laugh at my aging expense. So because a few little things will pop up, or they'll make a comment about menopause, or the other day I said sex in Seattle instead of Sleepless in Seattle, and then or Sex in the City, and the kids had a good old crack up over that. So yeah, it's just about having a laugh, finding fun where you can, and if your children have left home, making sure that you are connecting with others, so there's space for fun and laughter and joy. We need to find it. It's essential.
Yeah, absolutely. I can remember my son sending me a meme once, and I think there was a sloth with the photo, the camera, and like doing this slow pressing going on. So
I have seen that one.
yes, that's a good one. Yes, so definitely sense of humor, healthy aging, having fun with our children. And I actually love that about, as I've got older and my children have got older, I love now that we can communicate more on a an adult level. So I've got a bit of a black humor, so to bring my black humor into our relationship You know, I'm a bit of a naughty mum. I'm a fun mum too, but I'm also a bit of a naughty mum. A lot of people don't know that about me. You might. But yeah, definitely the laughter of it. And it's really interesting because I've got my 2 children and I can shock my son. Oh my God, I love that. So my daughter and I, that's fair game. He's fair game because he's shockable. So yeah, I love that. I love that. How sense of humour, having fun with your kids. So
I do have a secret weapon though. Can I show you?
Yes, please. Oh,
I bought them to share.
oh, beautiful.
So I get a lot of joy out of those.
Yeah, right. No.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that then. So one of the things you love is your roller derbying 47-year-old hitting the roller derby. Tell us a little about that and how it keeps you young.
Look, I actually started the roller derby around the time I started to let my hair go grey, and I even ended up in the newspaper talking about that. Because interestingly, I had more, so I was 47, I'm in my 55th year now, I'm 55 in November. So when I started the roller derby and the hair going grey, I got more resistance around the hair going grey from other people than I did doing the derby, which I thought was really interesting. And even my mum, she was like, oh, if you're going to do roller derby, you need to make sure you have a bone densities test. So she was already expecting the worst. But nevertheless, I have a love affair with roller skating from when I was a girl, and when the opportunity arose, it was called Fresh Meat, is when they recruit new skaters, and I was there. And I only trained for about 2 years. I don't have really the mindset for competitive bouting. It's quite a mind game, to be honest. It's very physical.
Yes,
it is full contact, but I really wanted to do it for the skating. So I don't do that now. I just skate every week at the roller skating rink when we're not in lockdown with my daughter and her friends. She's a part of the junior derby. So I still go and hang out with them. And, you know, a lot of people who are older also go. So it's definitely not necessarily just for all the kids and the teens that are there. There's plenty in my age group. Yeah, which is great. And you can see everyone in the bleachers, you know, wishing that was them. Oh, I used to skate. I wish that was me. You can see it. And there's nothing that should stop us from doing whatever we love, whatever we did as a youth or as a child or whatever. If you love it, do it. You're never too old. And that would be one of the things around, you know, doing what's fun for you, is tapping into the things that have given you joy in the past, 100%.
Absolutely. And I love that it's a physical thing. And look, not everybody has, you know, the benefit of having a strong, healthy body at our age. We're of a similar age. And, you know, my passion is Pilates. But there's many women at our age that just could not possibly do what you do, Krishna, and you know, can't do what I do because they've let their bodies go. And it's, you know, there's a whole varying amounts of reasons. You know, there could be, you know, sickness, illness, injury, you know, those sorts of reasons. But in my business, what I see is women, many women just let themselves go, and, you know, everybody else's lives become more important than theirs, and that's an area of interest that I work in around.
And boundaries are really important, I think, as we get older. Setting those boundaries and making time for you, and knowing when to say no, and recognizing your patterns that you put everyone else first all the time. You know, there comes a time when you've got to stop doing that. And in saying that, physically, my skating isn't without its challenges. You know, if I rarely fall over, it's very unusual. But if I do, I have a hard time getting up now. I get the rink guard, come and get me. And I also have a foot condition that, you know, relates to just part of getting older. So I might have to tweak some of the things. It's sort of that fine line between letting yourself go, being responsible for your own health. So for me, the skates that I love, I would marry them. I need to probably change the type of skate that I'm wearing because of this foot condition. Wearing compressed shoes skates are one of those, aggravates this nerve condition in my foot. So I'm going to have to address that rather than ignore it and allow it to keep getting worse. You know, it's a fine balance between those things. But fundamentally, I exercise to maintain my mobility. I want to keep that as long as possible.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's my passion is that message as well. You know, strong, mobile, flexible body. It's what enables us. We all want to have this magical, you know, fantastic life. You know, doing the things we love, doing like you're doing what you're doing with passion with your daughter. But we need the body for it. So, but I love that. What I really love about what you just said then, though, is that you respect and honor where your body is at by, you know, the foot and the boot and all of that. And rather than just pushing through and ignoring it, because that potentially can cause so much more damage in the long run. So
we are not 20
We're
anymore.
not 20. No, and yes, and I think it's not silly. I used to hear all the time, you know, in your 50s, you know, this pre-talk that you get about what's it going to be like in your 50s, and you would not believe the amount of times over the years I've heard from my clients, oh, it's all downhill when you turn 50. And there's this brainwashing that goes on that's going to happen. And, you know, I was so on guard for that. And, you know, one of my passions is working with women and their mindsets around aging. I was really on guard for that thing that, you know, it's all downhill from there. And I must admit, I've definitely had my own physical challenges in the last couple of years, and similar to you. And it's about managing that, honoring it, respecting it, and just going, right, well, how can I segue a little bit left and, you know, respect where I'm at? So
how can you keep doing what you love?
That's it.
And make room for that and make adjustments.
Yes.
But it doesn't have to be the mindset. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. I think it's different. We're in different places. There's benefits, you know, of getting older as well. It's like
definitely. And that leads me to my next question perfectly. So what's the one thing that you love the most about being an aging woman and being in this point in time in your life?
Look, I think it is you know who you are more.
Yeah, love that.
You know, it takes half a century to find yourself. And I think it's really important to understand the things that trigger you and might send you off in a tangent or upset you. Because once you transcend those things, once the triggers that upset you become less of an issue, you can be who you are rather than letting external things or what someone said or what a family member's done or a friend or finding who you are is 100% the best thing about getting older. 100%.
I love it. Yeah, that's right. And really recognizing, like going back to the opening, how much wisdom that we've got to share with other people, to enrich our lives and enrich our families. So that's great.
Yeah, we can continually reinvent ourselves, have whatever direction we want to take. We're not restricted. You know, it's just a case of what have you got that you can work with? What resources do you have at your fingertips? And, you know, I think we're amazingly resourceful, and that comes with wisdom.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, let's flip that on the other side then, and let's look at then, you know, if you have one, but do you have a personal struggle with aging? And if so, what is it that you do to be at peace with that thing in order to live with it or use that challenge or struggle?
Look, my personal struggle, like I've never really worried about the end of life coming up pretty quickly until just this last little bit. It's like, this 55th year, it's like, gee, I might only have 15 years left, or that was a bit of a freak out. I had a freak out moment just recently, but at the end of the day, I'm going to keep doing what I love. You know, I'm still running a business. I'm still going to keep doing those things. But that was, I did have a bit of a moment, and I haven't really had that before. Just being around the kids and thinking, wow, you know, we talk about these things a lot. We talk about aging, we talk about death, you know, we have very open conversations, and then just that realization, wow, you know, Lily's been going, I'm going to be 16 next year and I'm going to be this, and when you're in 20 years you're going to be that, and I went, oh my God, you're right. So that's been interesting, but at the end of the day, that's a fleeting feeling. And, you know, these little body things become a bit annoying.
Irritating, yes.
The physical things, and then the odd when your brain doesn't do what you want or whatever. But look, at the end of the day, my brain's still pretty switched on, and I just want to keep it that way. So keep using what you want to maintain, keep using your brain, keep using your body, keep moving. Don't sit around and wait for death to arrive, you know, and that applies to everybody, regardless of age. So yeah, look, the inevitability is the challenge of getting older, I think, but I'm not going to get bogged down in that.
No, absolutely not. And look, it's a fair fear, for want of a better word. We don't want to leave our families. We don't, you know, we just want to keep on living, but we know that's not going to be the case. So was there any particular thing or moment or trigger or that got you thinking that way? Was there something specifically, or is just something you're working through?
No, it was just the kids talking about, you know, how old we're going to be here and how old we're going to be there, and then going 55. That's only 15 years till I'm 70.
Yeah.
That was huge.
Yeah. In fact,
it was just that little thing, is like, whereas it's never really been in my circle of being really.
No, because you're still 17 after all.
Yeah. But I was 17 now. All of a sudden, I'm going to be 70.
How the heck did that happen?
Yeah. So it's just that, you know.
Yeah. No, I'm totally relating to that. And I had my own experience of that just last weekend, and my experience of that was, because now that I'm a grandmother, that was a new thing 2020 for me. That it took me a long time to really get my head around that.
Yeah.
Wow. And look, I lost my mum young. She was 60 and to lung cancer. But my realization was, my sister also had a grandbaby as well. She's got 2. So they came up on the weekend. So we had these 3 little babies. And I was just sitting there looking at these 3 babies. One's 1, 2 a newborn. And I've just gone, oh my goodness, I've just become my mum. You know, I just had that big flashback. Wow, suddenly my sister and I are our mum, you know, of the grandkids. And yeah, it was just, it was one of those moments like you. A little sad moment too. It's just like, oh wow, I wish I had mum to see the grandkids and where we're all at in life. And, you know, it's not meant to be, and that's the way it is.
And see, I don't have grandkids, and then it's like I don't want to run out of time to have the grandkids.
No.
Because I started later. But, you know, my mum also died of lung cancer. She never smoked. She ate organic. She didn't put chemicals on her body. And it was fairly quick at the end there. But she was gardening. Yeah. She was 74 when she passed.
Yeah.
But, you know, she was very active till the end with her gardening and everything, a really keen gardener, and being active in her community and helping other carers, because she cared for my dad who had Alzheimer's. So I guess some of my influence comes from that, is, you know, she was always very active doing what she loves. So I plan to do that as well.
Yeah, that's a nice experience to see, that living your best life to whatever end number that is. That's awesome. Yeah. So from your point of view and experience, what is the most common thing or mistake that you think that women make as they age?
Preconceptions of what aging might be, or anytime you fall into society's expectation of how you should be, that's not healthy at all. It doesn't fuel a positive mindset. Expectations, just generally, I think can be very damaging. And rather than having expectations of how things should be curious instead. That would be, and you know, another thing, just contemplating this, I was thinking about, you know, okay, we might have these health conditions and they get a bit annoying. But, you know, I had a back injury when I was 16. I had another back injury when I was 28. You know, like, we have things when we're younger as well, and they were challenging to get over at the time. But at the end of the day, making sure you take care of your body, that you work on getting stronger, that you look after your health with what you put in your mouth, with the physical attention that you give to it, and what you know, how you manage your mindset. They are all important at all ages. So it's easy to go, oh, you know, it's annoying because I've got this and I've got that. But I had stuff when I was younger as well.
Yes.
And, you know, even like the thing with the hair going grey, I find it really liberating. But I'm in a lot of groups around women who are transitioning, and the social conditioning is what stands out around expectations of how we should be at a certain age, and, you know, and so on. But I think it's fair that we can agree that, you know, a 50-year-old 50 years ago is very different to a 50-year-old now. So, yay us.
Oh, definitely, totally. We're young women at our age, definitely. And that was sort of leading you're touching on a little bit of my next question, and it was around how do you think society views aging women, so let's say over 50 women, and what is good and what is bad about that? Yeah,
look, it's interesting. Sometimes I think we create a rod for our own back. Like, my kids don't see me as old. Their friends don't see me as old.
We're not.
No, we're not. We're not. Good. They got it right. So, but society's expectations about how we should be. What was the question again?
Talking about, society. You were touching that in your last question, society views. What do you think that there's society's views that is good and what is bad about that from your perspective, obviously?
Yeah, it's hard to speak for everybody. I think there's always, you know, stereotypes. The one that I get a bit of a laugh over at the moment, it's not really an aging thing, but there's that Karen stereotype of the woman who, you know, has to see the manager, and, you know, there's those kinds of funny societal expectations around things. But there's also other things like, oh, well, you can have a baby at any age, and, you know, I think that's silly as well. I don't know. It's really subjective.
It is, and culturally different in every country. Obviously, it was more. You know, do you see anything relevant for around here? You know, where you live in your society?
Yeah, like, you know, on the Sunshine Coast, there's a lot of retired, you know, aged living facilities. But I don't really attach a thing to those. I think, oh, that sounds kind of fun. You got a pool and. Look, at the end of the day, I'm pretty positive. I've always been positive regardless where I'm at with the job that I have, or I try to find the best in situations where we can. I do tend to look at the positive in things. I focus on what you can do, not what you can't, generally speaking. So, yeah.
I think one of the things that's just come to mind for me that I do see and hear a lot of, however, I think it comes back more to, I don't know if it's true or even real. And my perspective is that it comes back to women's mindset, and that is that I'm getting older, so I can't go for that job. So
actually, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I'm going to be ignored because I think on the coast for sure, being overqualified is a really big issue. So, now we could go off on a tangent because, I think that definitely exists. There is ageism in our working environments. But I guess I forgot because I'm just making my own thing rather than relying on somebody. So, but yes, I think that's alive and well, ageism in the workplace, unfortunately. So that's because, let's face it, you know, the luxury of retiring at 50 isn't necessarily something that we're all going to be able to do. So
No,
we do have to keep working.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're spot on when you said about overqualified people on the Sunshine Coast, because people want to move here. And in my Pilates business, you know, on a weekly basis, I have new clients come to my door that have moved from Sydney and Melbourne, demographics similar to you and I. They've worked their careers, they've come up here. So I just, like you, in small business for so many years, I don't have the personal experience of that. Where my curiosity lays around it is, how can we help? And that's one of my passions, is working with women's mindsets, so that you don't let that stop you.
No.
That you can just, if you walk in and you own a job interview and you know, stand in your true power, you still have the ability to stand out from all the other applicants.
Absolutely.
100% believe that. But yes, the woman has to believe that before she even pursues that thing.
Yeah.
But I think we could also say similar in all demographics and all jobs, on a blanket thing on the Sunshine Coast, as in, you know, I've heard of teachers, 500 applicants for one job, because they all want to live on the Sunshine Coast. So
yeah, I know there's multiple factors at play.
Yeah, for sure. And that, you know, and that's probably leading into my next question, which is, you know, we've covered a little bit of it already, about what do you think is the biggest challenge, or one of the biggest challenge of the aging woman's mindset, and how they think about themselves and how they view the world?
Look, I think, you know, one of my favourite shows is Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And, you know, Marie, she's a pain in the butt. You know, she puts everyone else first, and she does that. But I guess her love language is probably works of service. So it works for her. But I think you need to take back your sovereignty, that you're not just here to serve serve humanity absolutely with your gifts, but not at your expense. I've been working on my boundaries this year a lot. I've been noticing my triggers, working on my own boundaries and the things that upset me. And what I've realized is, when I get upset, it is because I haven't stood fast in what I want. And it might be something really simple like, you know, wanting the kids to do something to help me, and then if they're busy or they don't want to do it, I'll get annoyed. And it's like, hang on. And then I'll give up or go and do it. No, I'm not going to do that. Let's not get cranky about it, not get upset about it, not project back onto them because they didn't do what I want. Just stay steadfast. Oh, you know, can you come and help me with the thing? Stand in my claim of what I actually want and need, rather than go into that martyrdom. I've really noticed that pattern between triggers and boundaries. And there comes a time you just got to you got to live for the boundaries that you stand for, rather than forever putting everyone else's. It doesn't serve them. It doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve anybody. It just makes everyone upset. And I've noticed that a lot. I've noticed the correlation between the triggers and the boundaries. And I've been consciously working on them. I've been observing them and just consciously, you know, seeing it play out, and then going, okay, no, I'm just going to reiterate the question that I asked, rather than no one helps me. Yeah, so going, no, can you just help me for half an hour in the garden just to fill up the green bin? You know? And they're happy to do it. They don't complain. They're just distracted doing that. They're just following my patterns.
That's right. And you created them, and you created.
I created them.
And the relationship, and that's a really relevant thing that you just said, and it just brought to mind, you know, how we work as coaches and how I work as a coach. And it's about creating a well-formed statement in the positive, and being very clear about what we do want versus what we don't want. So that's really awesome that we can learn to master. We have a wonderful opportunity, once again, going back to our wisdom as aging women, drawing on the experience of our life. And, you know, we've developed a few skills by now. So
we have. Let's
just tap into them a bit more.
And when we recognize the triggers and we can allow them to, and let them go, then we're who we are. And that's really liberating, to be who you actually are, rather than anything that anyone expects, whether it's a family member, whether it's, you know, society, your neighbours, whatever. Just being unapologetically you is a beautiful place to be, and I'm working towards that.
Yeah,
Have been my whole life.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, and we can support each other to do that. So
yes, 100%.
That's for sure. Excuse me. Okay, I'm just having a quick look at my questions. Okay, so what do you know to be true and believe to be the most amazing thing about being an aging, healthy woman?
Well, I can make my own choices. I don't answer to anybody. So, and I guess it is about what I've just sort of, some of the things that I've just mentioned.
Yeah, yes, you have covered that.
About being yourself.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm allowed to make my choices. I don't have to answer to anybody else. So yeah, so it's about, well, what are those choices going to be?
Yes.
And how can I, you know, it's a constant evolution. We're bettering ourselves all the time.
Yeah. So embracing that process of that too.
Yeah.
The emergence of
enjoying the journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Awesome, Krishna. Thank you. Now, can you just tell us, before we wind up, just a little bit about what you're working on? I know you've got a few things on the go there, and you've got many skills, and you're just coming into whatever that is. Where are you at with all of that?
Yeah, look, I'm very lucky. I work, I have an ongoing contract with a local magazine, which I love, Holistic Bliss. And I also work for a Natural Therapies Academy, doing just a day there, doing a variety of things. And I'm studying clinical aromatherapy with them as well. I've just started that this year because it's something that I've always loved. And I just decided I'm going to get a formal qualification in that field. But I'm really stepping into the healthy aging space. I've got my Healthy Aging Avengers project in the pipeline. I'll be doing a lot more copywriting. And so I'm really going to be writing a lot more because it's something that I can do from anywhere, regardless of what's happening. And yeah, my brain's still working. So I'm just going to, embrace all of that while I can, and while I'm still loving and enjoying that kind of work. So yeah, Healthy Aging Avengers is in the pipeline as an advocate for healthy aging, joining with people like yourself, so that we can really get this message about what a positive experience it can be, and how do we do that? How do we continue being purposeful regardless of any age? I think they're really important issues.
Yes.
Purpose can be as simple as taking those muffins to your neighbour every week. It doesn't have to be work-wise. So yeah, some of these things that I feel really strongly about, and having fun. Having fun is really important, doing what gives you joy. So they're just the things I'll be advocating for. I'm not quite sure what it's going to look like yet. I'm enjoying the journey.
The journey. Awesome. I embrace the journey, and I encourage you every step of the way, Krishna.
Thank you.
Yes. Look, thanks so much for joining today, and we've covered a few great areas of healthy aging, and I'm really looking forward to the evolution of your upcoming business and the Healthy Aging Avengers, and us working together a little bit more in the future. It's been absolutely awesome. Thank you.
I think we can recreate ourselves at any age, to be honest.
Absolutely. Yes. So that would be that would be what I would be asking you next. Your final. Have you got one more final word of wisdom for our viewers?
Be yourself.
Love it. Awesome.
Everybody else is taken.
Perfect. Thanks, Krishna. So that's our interview for this evening. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. It's been amazing. So look out for the Fast Track Your Mind Body Health free product I've got coming out. I'll put some links down below. Very excited to work in a similar space to Krishna around healthy aging and living our best lives. So bye for now. We'll see you all.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.